we are proposed together the survey in the sheets were distributed, and the theoretical models. So there is sort of discrepancy between models and data we are research or we want to survey. How are we going to operationalize our models? To me, it seems to me that there is sort of a huge discrepancy between models and the data we are proposed to get. Let me just have some suggestions to generate other comparative data used for us without pretending, of course, to operationalize the sum ecology. I find it necessary to get at least some data about the ratio between potential applicants and actual users. For instance, if the residence permit required to apply for naturalization by domiciliary mode is 10 years, how many immigrants meet this requirement? How many actually among these entitled do apply? In case, for instance, of youth families abroad, how many people are potentially entitled to ask for a passport? How many actually do? Understanding just the simple functioning is a prerequisite to try to answer why. Why do not they apply if they can? We have already started to give some answer in this afternoon session. We have already received some suggestions. For instance, opportunistic attitudes. They apply if it is useful. This is the case, for instance, of Italians in Argentina. They ask for the passport, not in order to come to Italy, but in order not to have a visa requirement to go to the United States, or in order to go to Spain, because Spain is, they already speak Spanish, so for that it's easier. But by contrast, for instance, Italians in Belgium, who already are holder of a EU passport, they anyway ask for a Belgian nationality. Why? And the identity explanation comes to help us. I think, generally speaking, it's interesting to understand the fifth thing, identity dimension, concerning both, again, the applicants, the immigrants who wants to be naturalized. The less his national identity is thick, the more is likely to apply. And on the other hand, but also the thin identity, national identity of the receiving country. For instance, the maximum of identity is Israel. Israel has the thicker identity you can imagine, no? Because the identity is extremely strong. The rural difficult, but also the identity is very strong. And we can also try to understand how thicker are becoming identities. For instance, in Muslim countries, how thicker are these sort of national identities becoming, so more difficult will be not only to be accepted, but also to desire to have the will of being accepted. If you, by definition, you feel in sort of alien, cultural, alien refusing places. And for my experience, I say, as a virus, what I notice is when political policymakers come as they need to prepare reform, they usually look at comparison. So comparison was at the basis of the last French reform. It was on the basis of the last Amato Bill reform in Italy. But how can we detect the fact that they use or not comparison? I was told by Patrick Barry that they use comparative procedure. I know that we use a comparative procedure in Italy. But if you want sort of objective indicators of this procedure, we have to look at the parliamentary committee proceedings, or at least of the reports that accompany the project bill. Normally the project bill are accompanied by reports. Do these reports quote comparison, or do they not? I have finished. Okay, finish here.
No, 2 minutes.
Please. A comparison is considered increasingly useful by policymakers insofar as it enables them to properly evaluate different policies and possibly to import them. Well, of course, this does not apply to nationality. Nationality, for many reasons, is very nationality for many reasons are very difficult, are extremely difficult to import. And we know why, because we already quoted many of the reasons why they are difficult to import. Historical legacy, legal legacy, and so on. But I think that not usually we tend to overestimate legacy, because to look at the historical legacy is elegant, is an elegant way of interpreting. Whereas in some cases the reason why it's very difficult to import can be linked to other features of the political system. Very easily, for instance, to the fact that even the majority of government wants to introduce a new reform, this majority is either too narrow or too conflictual. So this can be one of the reasons why import, that was in the intention of the decision makers, proved to be impossible to implement. If I just have some more minutes. If we look at the nationality law and at the ongoing trend concerning nationality law, I think that we can look at nationality law as something that can be located, positioned at the top of integration or non-integration strategies. Let me make an example. Linguistic language requirement, authorable agencies, sharing common values, attending integration courses. Well, many of these requirements were first located as requirement, as barrier to achieve nationality. Then they went down to permanent resident permit, then to just resident permit, then even to family reunion in some countries. So I think it would be interesting to look at nationality as something that is embedded in a larger, of course, in integration strategy. But something that is even probably more interesting is to look at the nationality law as something that can be positioned also within immigration policies. The more clear example is the 1971 first immigration reform, which deprived the foreign subject from the right to abode, which is quite fair to a citizen that cannot abode in the country, their own countries. Then this provision was followed by the 1981 nationality law, which restricted the access to nationality in order to curb immigration. So in a way, what I would suggest, the curiosity is something that we do not see precisely know where nationality law can be positioned within larger policy strategies. They are sometimes positioned in budgetary strategies. In the 1996 reform in the United States restricted the nationality law in order to spare public funding, to spend less money. To invest less money in welfare addressed to immigrants.
Thank you, Giovanna, for bringing in the political science perspective. And just in order to demonstrate that we don't have ethnic quota here, I'll give the floor to another Italian origin speaker, Julia Henry from the Commission. This is the concluding statement for this round.
I really feel like a passerelle to tomorrow work. Maybe I will just really give some elements from my perspective, which is not finance supported this project. So maybe just to tell you why within this area we decided to focus on citizenship and what would be the use of the output of your project and the context of it. The European Integration Fund mainly finances national integration measures and strategies, but we keep some money to finance national projects and community actions. Why did we decide to focus on integration within this year-long work program? As it was underlined by Handrunner not only citizenship policies are, with all these verifications that have been made with the links to other immigration policies and new legislation, are our national sovereignty. But so is, to a very large extent, integration. So far, there's no word integration in the treaty. Even if the Lisbon Treaty will enter into force, we will have a clear legal base on to do things at the EU level and integration, but still any harmonization on legislation, regulation, and policies will not be considered. So, what can we do at the EU level in this field, or with the work, with what we have in this respect? What we can do is monitor, evaluate, use, try to give tools to member states or elements, modules to use in their national policies. So exchange good practices, promote successful policies, or make them aware of unsuccessful measures. And we do it through this fund, which was kind of a success because having a decision and a fund on without legal base was quite pregnant. Why citizenship? Well, strangely, or maybe not strangely, but I think interestingly enough, ministers of member states or governments in very many documents, and I only mentioned the last Council conclusions on integration, asked the European Commission and engaged somehow to further develop concepts on citizenship, on participation. So it was really an input from the governments to the Commission to elaborate further on these issues. And I think that it's interesting to see why. We will take these suggestions seriously, so we will not take them as the general blah blah on the declaration and council conclusions. And well, maybe tomorrow I can explain some work that we have already been doing that should be interesting also for the developments of this project, such as handbooks on for policymakers on integration, for policymakers and practitioners. And this year edition will really focus on participation and citizenship, or other tools that we are putting in place. But what we would like to see also from this project and to be able to use and to give them somehow is, well, of course, feeling all what I've been hearing was extremely interesting, and that's also what we liked in the project. But if I may underline some interesting aspects which were raised today that we would really, I think, be able to use to do something in this field, is really focus on policy making. So on what it's around citizenship and legislation. So what it was not maybe mentioned today, for example, is the administrative aspects of the implementation of legislation, which in many member states is very relevant, and in this respect, maybe more than on legislation, which I don't know how much we take on board the technical information that we will be able to provide. In this field, maybe we can try to improve the policy making. So the actual handling of citizenship. Because here is where we have more room, more space to make space for action. Another focus that I would really like to underline further, that it was raised today by Vicky, for example, is really the link, which is I think, if I may say, much more controversial and complex than it was somehow summarized in the project between citizenship and integration policies. I will not mention I will mention it, but is the usual example of the British citizens who was then a terrorist. So is citizenship a sign of integration? So the link between integration and citizenship, I think it's much more complex somehow than it's presented. So I think this area would be very interesting to further underline, as well as, of course, the issue of integration tests, integration conditions and measures, administrative barriers, fees to acquire citizenship, and so the links with the integration. I will really not use more time on this because maybe tomorrow we can further discuss. Maybe just one element that is interesting, that's also why we really like the project, is that we are currently developing and elaborating a European integration website, so it will really be the one-stop shop on integration at the European level. And so I think the database that we will build up on the forum and the website, and also this kind of tools of the project will really be a good way to link and to further promote the project. I hope I was within my time.
We are right on time. Thanks a lot, Julia. Of course, it's always important to hear what the funding authority expects from the project. The saying in German, he who pays the player selects the tune. But I have to say, in our case, we had a very good, preparatory phase of this project where we feel we could also promote our academic interests in promoting the research on this topic and identify what we think are the relevant gaps from that perspective. And I think we'll meet on a common ground. This is the end of the first day. I'd like to thank all of the speakers, and specifically those at the round table. Before you leave this room, we need to make a couple of announcements in terms of logistics so that you don't get lost. Both the city of Florence and the Badia Geseranes, this building is called Mazes, and you can get easily lost. So please listen carefully to what Bernard will tell you now. Also the schedule is very important because there will be buses that you will miss if you are not there on time.
Okay, basically what you need to know is in the letter that Gabriela Unger sent you with the hotel information. So I'm not saying anything new. So if you don't remember everything I'm saying, go back to the letter that Gabriela Unger has sent to you. But I recall that we have dinner served at 8 o'clock here at the Institute. So there are 2 hours now where you're free to go to the hotel if you want, or stay here. There's the bar fiasco open. The library also is open. So but basically there are there is no shuttle buses organized now taking you to the hotel. So it's up to you to choose the means of transportation to go to your hotel if you desire to go to the hotel. And there's bus 7 starting from San Domenico. So if you just go up in San Domenico, there's the bus 7 in front of the church. In front of the church, the bus takes you down to Hotel Athenaeum for those who go downtown. And on the other side of the road, a bit down, there's the bus 7 going up to Fiesole for those who are in Villa Fiesole. Okay. And then at 7:30 from the hotel, there will be a shuttle bus organized by us, so it's not public transportation. A shuttle bus at 7:30 leaving from the hotel, both from Hotel Athenaeum and Villa Fiesole, that will take you for dinner here. So this is the first thing. Dinner is in Sala Corona, which is roughly a room underneath where we had lunch. Okay, it is complicated, but if you ask someone at the porter or the bar fiasco, ask where it is, and we'll be waiting also 7:45, and the bus will take you there anyway. So there is no clear indication as to where it is, but it's close to bar fiasco, the new one, if that helps. The last information is tomorrow morning we have organized a bus, a shuttle bus, leaving at 8:30 from your hotel. So the bus will take you straight to the Badia where we are here, and we resume our talks tomorrow night. So 8:30 tomorrow morning and 7:30 tonight to